So, oh my God, there's a lot of stuff back there
What stuff?
in my cabinets. Let me just move back over here a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how long I'll be able to talk today, but I just don't feel 100% today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we go on,
Yes.
and I know that we're on,
Yeah.
but did you put that filter on for me?
Let's see. I put it on for myself, but I think you have to do it on your end too.
Do I?
If you go down to settings,
Because I am looking a little old.
if you go,
oh my God! Wait a minute, it's already on. Touch it, child, and it's on the max. So.
Oh wait, they have max settings. I wonder how what's good. Okay, how does it? Wait, that's at the max for me. Oh my God.
Okay, so
like my face looks 2-dimensional.
Okay, so yeah, you know what? I'm
just gonna put it on medium, moderate.
Yeah, we'll just put it on medium too.
Like they needed to be able to tell I'm a person.
Yeah, well,
they're just gonna airbrush me, and so I just look like a beige smear on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, I almost shut us down. So yeah, don't know how that works. Okay, so you got a haircut, I see.
I did.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Well, thank you. I like it. I mean, it's just I went back to cutting it myself.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lady that. Well, granted, I wasn't really going to the best place.
Okay.
But twice in a row, she didn't really listen to me. So I'm like,
do they ever?
No. Yeah. I just wanted her to basically. I wanted this haircut. I'm like, I want you to just trim the sides and the back, and I just don't want you to touch the top at all. And she's like, oh, I'll just take a little bit off. And I was like, well, did you listen to me? I'm like, okay, but just a little bit. I'm like, and then more, of course, just a little bit. It turns out being a lot.
There goes that effective listening.
I'm like, okay, so I'm just not going back there, at least for
you know what? From our last podcast, if you are not feeling that you're valued in a place, then just go to that place, and hopefully they will get the hint and make better choices in the future.
Yeah, I mean, she was very nice. She was very nice. I liked her.
Well,
she was lovely. She just doesn't listen. She didn't listen to me. I was like telling everyone who would listen, like about this, but
well, I think people are just going to need to feel the effects of us not giving them our business, and they will do better.
I mean, she probably won't notice or care, but it's
well,
okay.
You know what?
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, what we're hoping for is a following where people are all doing this, and then it'll eventually get to her that more than one person is me for a reason. So because maybe I wasn't listening.
It's okay. It's fine. I mean, I actually cut my hair for, several years.
I disappeared for a while.
Wait, just now?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see.
I'm back.
Wait, were you gone?
Well, I was. You were not.
I'm gonna have to roll the footage back when I edit this back. I'm gonna be like, I didn't even. It's one of those days where I'm like, I'm not mentally here, but.
Well, maybe you're pushing yourself.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the heat, because it's like unnaturally hot today.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I didn't go outside too much.
Oh.
I was, I stay in the office.
Wow.
Went out for lunch.
Well, that's nice though that you could.
Yeah. I try to stay inside. Even did my training session on the inside.
That's right. You were talking about that last time. I mean, well, maybe we should do like a little bit of a recap.
Well, I guess we could. We did. We don't want to tell them the same thing because they're going to just go back.
No, but what we didn't really do at the last show is just really like talk about what the show is, who we are, how we know each other.
We didn't do that?
We might have at the very end, but I only cut like 50 minutes for the episode because I got to a stopping point, and then you said something that sounded like, I'm like, that's the end of the episode. It's like we're at the halfway point. You ended on a very succinct, good note, and then I said,
was it positive?
It was, you said, what did you say actually? Basically, like,
The-
if you're going, just always show up as your best person. That's what it was.
Oh, I
Yeah.
said something that nice,
See,
huh?
it was nice.
Well, that was nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna have to remember. I'm gonna have to roll that back too.
So there was more footage after that, but I think as I kept going, I was also drinking a little wine that night. I think as I kept going, I kept getting a little less coherent.
Oh, that's
Not
the best
not that bad, but just like it was not structured. I was like saying things that didn't add up to anything. I was like rambling.
Well, we all know, we've all been there. We've all had that drinking moment, which we love.
It didn't look like much, but the next day I realized, because I had another glass of wine after we had our call, and the next day I was like, oh, I didn't have that many. I only had like 3. Well, 3 glasses of wine, that's pretty significant. And then I looked, they were pretty big glasses, and then I was like looking even closer. I'm like, oh, I drank almost this whole bottle. So yeah.
So, are we drinking a glass a day
No.
because we're enjoying ourselves?
That was the last time I drank. Well, except when I went to my parents' house, but
Okay.
yeah.
I just want to make sure we're having a hard day at work and coming home and having that
No.
glass of wine.
No, because the next day I was like hung over as all shit, and still had to go to work, and I had too much to do, and I'm like, I can't do this again. I'm getting too old for this.
Well, so we should acknowledge that, if you're listening to this one, you probably know that we've posted our first episode.
I think I posted it like 2 days ago.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think anyone really knows that it's out there except for my sister.
Well, have you been back to our page?
Not today, no.
We've had some views.
How many?
Last time I checked, 8, 9?
Oh, okay. I mean, how many of those were from me and my sister?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Well, then, but then I had friends that gave me some great feedback.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they say?
That's one of the things I wanted to look at today a little bit. I'm gonna try to pull some of them up, not all of them, of course. A lot of people said, you finally, we got this started, and I said, well, thanks to Drew, we made this happen.
In watching back the edited footage, I think I learned a lot about what I need to do going forward. I think I need to have a clear thought in my mind before I actually say something. Like thinking before you speak.
You know what? I learned a lot by looking at it as well. Hopefully will do the same. I'm very animated.
That's good. That's good.
I noticed
on
that
video.
I'm like, Marlon, you probably needs to slice that down a bit.
No, I disagree. I think that's good. That's what you want for camera.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody's like, this is really cool. You finally did it. I think one person told me to try to stay centered in the camera because I probably was going off for a minute.
I think for me, I just need to be I need to be a little bit more focused.
Okay.
I just feel like I think I'm just such a perfectionist. I think I'm just nitpicking everything.
And I kind of went with what you said when we first started this. This is going to be just cool talking. So yeah. I was trying to be just chatty and not be so serious, which I think that's good. A friend of mine also said he is definitely a subscriber.
Oh, good.
A lot of my friends said keep them coming.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we're gonna definitely do that, which is really awesome.
Well, thank you to everyone out there. I said the only one I sent it to was my sister, and I think she said she listened to it with her boyfriend while she was having a drink after work.
Well, also I had a friend that said, "Who is this Drew guy?"
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't even
know. So, hopefully if he's listening, which I'm sure he is, or he will be, when we post this, I brought up your message.
Oh.
But yeah.
Cool.
So yeah. How are we feeling? Come on.
I feel good. I mean, I'm in a mood. I'm always in a mood.
I know. What type of mood today?
I'm not in a bad mood today by any means, but I'm also at home. I've had time to decompress a little bit. I mean, still taking the metro, so that always puts me in a mood.
Well, it gives you lots to talk about.
It does. I mean, is it really interesting to even get into? I mean, nothing really interesting actually happens. It's like
I
just
don't know.
cynical observations of people.
You know what? Observation of people is why we come up with our content. Because that what affects us. The way they're acting, the way they're being. It kind of gives us a thought, It kind of gives us, something to talk about. And I used to have public transportation stories all the time. And some of them were fun, some of them were weird, some of them were scary. But yeah, they were really cool. They kind of made me who I am today. So to all those people that rode me on the bus from Catonsville, I'm so sorry you had to do that with me. But because I was definitely watching you and telling your story.
No, there was one. There was one. I saw something on someone posted on Reddit about something they saw on the yellow line on the DC Metro of this guy who was like jerking off like right in front of him, and like he wanted him to see, and then but like he's like, was it weird that I took a picture? I was like, well, you kind of have to if you're like trying to report that. They need to see what's happening. But at the same time, it's also kind of like seems like that's what he wanted you to do because he was an exhibitionist, I'm guessing. It's very weird. What do you do in that situation where it's like, I'm trying to like, I don't even know where I'm going with this.
Hey, I kind of like where we're going here. And to the people, anyone who's taken that photo, I will gladly send you my email. And
but it's probably not who you want it to be.
Oh, of course.
No.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Although it did make me think though, because like every time I'm during rush hour, especially on the way home, it's like you always see people taking up 2 seats.
Yeah.
And I always kind of want to take a picture of them for some reason. Not even really just to post it, just so I have like a little collection of like
rude people.
It sounds so petty and pathetic. Like maybe I could make a collage out of it or do something creative with it. I don't know, but
you know what? I always wanted to know when I rode public transportation. I don't know if anybody else had this out there, but I always wanted to know, how do you pick your seat? Like, even if the train is kind of empty and there's a lot of seats available, how do you pick your seat? Like, how do you pick the front, the back? Maybe I'm going to sit next to this guy because you passed a lot of people that you could have sat next to. Why did you sit next to them? I am always wondering that.
I wonder that because like I wonder what makes people decide who to sit next to when they don't have a choice of like, when like there are so few empty seats and you kind of have to sit next to someone. There's the point where people will always pick the empty seat, but when there aren't any empty seats, then you have to sit next to strangers.
I'm always wondering why they don't sit next to me. Do I smell? Am I looking thirsty? I mean, what did I scare them in some sort of way? Do I look evil?
Well, that's what I think. I'm like, am I like sweating a lot? Do I look off-putting? Do I look creepy?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, most people, all the cute ones, I'm telling you, I was probably thirsty. So basically, it's good that you've kind of passed me by.
But it usually doesn't even happen because most of the time I end up just standing.
Oh yeah,
I can't even get a seat. So which is fine. I don't really care. I mean, like I have it down. Like I know exactly like what doors I can stand near based on what stops. So that part's not really that stressful anymore.
It all goes back to, I think, the way people live their lives, what they're doing, and know that people like me is probably looking at you and wondering things. And I'm sure people are looking at me the same way. What is he doing here? Where is he going? I always like that too. Where are you going? I just want to know what people are thinking.
I always wonder that too. I mean, there's something that as much as I find public transportation kind of stressful, like it does. I mean, it's prime people watching opportunity, and especially in this area. I'm in the DC area, so I take it into DC every day, and there are interesting people. There are some interesting people to take.
Well,
that
I
take
will
things
say,
out.
so on our YouTube page,
Mm-hmm.
if you had a great experience or a bad experience, maybe you should write that in one of our
Yes.
comments.
Yes. And are you someone who also wants to take pictures of people who take up 2 seats? You mean not even just to post them, but just for some petty satisfaction of knowing that you managed to catch them? Do they care? Probably not. But I care.
Well, you know what? We're going to also think about, people thinking about themselves and them doing them. And that's one of the things I want to say. Is this really you that you're kind of presenting to us by your actions? So something as simple as just getting on the subway makes a lot of people think. And if you're walking around and you're thinking that no one's paying attention, this is here to tell you that everyone is paying attention.
It's really true. You can tune out, of course, and not really pay as close attention to something,
But somebody is going to look at it and say, hey, maybe I should wear what this person is wearing, or maybe I should act like this person or do what this person is doing because they've given me the okay to do it because they're doing it. So I think what we can really take from this is that, you're kind of being watched, and it does matter what you look like sometimes. And it does matter what you do out here. Even though you are being your authentic, genuine self, who is that person?
Yeah, sometimes a little too authentic and genuine.
And what message are you sending to these people that's riding with you on this subway?
I think sometimes that message is, this is my living room because I'm here.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, we know what type of day you had.
Well, no, but I'm thinking about there have been multiple times where I've seen people in the newer Metro cars for the DC Metro, like stretched out on the three bench seats, like it's a bed. And the most recent time I saw that happen, the guy was like sleeping on it with his back turned to the car, and he the guy that worked for Metro like tapped him to like wake him up. He's like, you can't do that. You can't take up all these seats. And the guy threw a fit, and he was like, yeah, you can't touch people like that. But I'm like, oh, come on, get over it. And then I think he got off like pretty quickly after that because he was kind of making a fool of himself, and people were like really uncomfortable.
Another thing I want to ask about the subway is, and I kind of wondered this, some of these people that are doing bad things on the subway are probably homeless. Okay, some of them, not all of them, but some of them.
Some of them, yeah.
I just want to know, and this is just, I guess I would really like to talk to a homeless person. Where are you going? I mean, you don't have a job. Where are you going? I mean, you don't have a home. Where are you going? I mean, I guess I just want to know, like, why are you on the subway? Is it to get some AC, possibly?
Maybe.
Get out of the rain?
Maybe, yeah.
But I'm always, we have a free public transportation system here where I am. It's a bus system. And I'm always wondering, where are you going? If you really don't have anywhere to go or need to go, where are you going?
I think a lot of people I've seen people ride the train to the end of the line before, and they'll just stay on. I think they'll just stay on until like someone physically comes into the car and tells them they need to leave or like has to take them off. I don't know. Maybe they just don't. Maybe it is for the AC or to get out of just the elements. Just it's something to do. It's something that people watch. I don't really know. Or I mean, it's not free in DC, but people jump the turnstiles all the time, and I think they are trying to like crack down on that, right? Because at some stations they put in like these big, tall gates where it's harder for people to do that. Although last week I did see a guy just throw his bag over, and he climbed all the way over that thing. Now I will say I don't think most people would be able to do that. He was very limber. I'll give him that.
And this person probably just wanted to let everyone know I can still do this.
I mean, honestly, I wasn't really expecting it because I mean, like that bag had to drop pretty far. I mean, if I did that with mine, my work computer would be like, I mean, it's already in a case, but it would not make it.
I guess the question is where are we going? Where are they going in this world? You know, who you are as a person. It's all these questions that comes up with all of these things. And it
Stranger,
just makes me think, the actions do, kind of put you in a mood sometimes. If you're traveling, you need to be somewhere, you need to sit down, and then you have a person who's really going nowhere, taking up the space and not, paying for their ride. Like you said, the guy who jumped, we have a guy who's sleeping. He probably jumped it and was sleeping in there or trying to get in there. It's just, people taking our right away.
I mean, everyone has a different situation and it's hard. I don't want to judge someone for doing that. I feel like, I mean, I think that I do probably on some level judge them to a certain extent because, I'm not exactly the richest person either. I mean, a lot more money goes to Metro than I care to admit. I don't really know what their situation is like either. So it's like, you can't really judge them too hard if you don't know them, I guess. Although I will say there are some people who jump the Metro turnstile that look like they could afford it.
Of course.
But this is just from my perspective, of course. But
isn't that with everything though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you couldn't pay $5 for the Metro, but you could certainly pay for those shoes that were more than $100. I guarantee.
I love how people always start with the shoes, don't they? Because
it's true though.
They're like, that shirt you're wearing really looks expensive. No, it's always the shoes.
Well, it's the shirt, it's the bag, it's the
you know what? I would probably look if they had a bag. I'm like, that's a nice bag.
There was also a time I had to jump the turnstile too because I didn't have my card on auto load and the exit fare was cash only, and I put more money on through the app, but it's like, oh, it could take up to 4 hours to arrive. Well, I'm like, well, I'm certainly not waiting at the Metro for 4 hours while I wait for this to happen. It's just not happening. So I just jumped it. But I also pay every other time, so I don't really feel that bad. But if someone had seen that, they would think that I just couldn't afford it.
Right.
So maybe, but then you do see it every day. But at the same time, maybe it is that situation. I don't think it is. You never know. It does make me feel like I shouldn't, just mind my own business, really.
I still think everybody needs to, if you really want me to pay to get on the subway, then you should make sure everyone else pays too. It doesn't really, I don't really care about the situation. I care about, it being fair. And if you can't afford to be there, then you can't. Go.
I do agree with that, but I'm also like, it's also none of my business. I'm really just doing what I have to do.
Right. I mean, we don't want to pass judgment on people. It's just that, just think about, you paid $1.50, say, and 20, 30, 40, 60 million people jumped it, and now it goes up to $2.
It's a lot. I've thought this so many times, but like, I have never seen any sort of enforcement for fare evasion, and they said they're going to start cracking down on it. I think they did that for like a day, maybe a week, but what is the incentive to pay if like I could jump the turnstile every single day and save so much money? There's no consequence for doing it. What if everyone just jumped the turnstile? Everyone could jump the turnstile because there's no one really there to stop you. And the people that are there are usually someone that you can outrun. I'm just going to say it. I could outrun them, every single one of them. I don't think they could catch me.
Well, you know what? Here it is, the question. I mean, I now we're getting to the nitty gritty. I sometimes the stress of the day, it takes a little while to get into the root of it.
It's not even just a physical thing, but they are so mentally over it already. Like they don't care either. It's like, it's a mental thing too, where I'm like, they can't be bothered to catch people. Come on.
What consequences do we have in the world today? Yeah. Didn't they make the law that you have to steal more than $1,000.
I think that was
Anything less than
I
$1,000 is a misdemeanor or something like that.
think
Did I
that was
read
in
that
San Francisco.
right? Okay.
I don't think that's. I mean, I don't think that's everywhere, but I do
Like,
think that is in certain places.
but
Yeah.
I know where I live in the really corner store down there, they've told people that don't approach people because they're dangerous.
I think that's just a sort of a retail thing. I remember when I worked in retail, my boss told me that, just like, if anyone tries to like ask for money, just give it to them. Like,
Okay, so are we calling the police, or are we afraid of retaliation,
I think she just wanted
or
them.
we just
She
reporting it
wanted to
to
keep
HR?
us. Well, I think of course we would have called the police. She didn't want us to go like vigilante on them or something. I'm like, don't worry, I'm not going to. For art supplies, I'm not gonna go risk my life there.
You know what? That's true, and I think that's what people are coming to, and therefore crime is increasing.
Everyone is so afraid of everyone being. I mean, this kind of goes to what we were talking about in the last episode, how unhinged everyone is. Like, people are too afraid of catching people at the wrong moment because
Well,
everyone is so on edge like that. I mean, it's just normal behavior now.
well, yeah. I'm being very good on this conversation, by the way.
Oh, you're like holding a
And
lot.
and I know people probably want to hear like what I really think. I mean, I'm.
Well,
So I'm
say how
gonna
you
say
really
it.
feel. Say how you really feel.
Oh no, really. I'm gonna have like darts at my door. So you know what? I think when people steal things, they should be punished. And I don't feel like anybody should run after them. I think whatever, I'm not gonna say use the guns like I just said, but
Oh,
I'm
God.
just saying it's just that everybody wants the punishment to be what? What do they say? The punishment has to match the crime.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Right.
what if the crime who decides how big the crime is? If you take $1 from me, I think that's a huge crime because you didn't take the value of $1, you took the from me being safe because you stole something from me, which is like
Yeah.
you know?
And yeah. And I mean, it's more. They take more than just monetary value. They take your sense of security,
Well, no one's putting
trust.
on things though. They're like, well, he only took a PlayStation. Okay. But, from the people who actually work at that store to know something has been stolen, know that it could happen again and it could happen to them. So, what is the value of the taking of the PlayStation? How many people did it affect?
Well, it affects a lot of people. I mean,
Exactly. So, how can we put a value on what that person did and took?
I will say it affects a lot of people, but I also think that there is an aspect of just the way that the world is now. We are so disconnected from the the manufacturing process, farms, like the things that we take. We have so little. There have been so many steps in between when that item gets there on the shelf and when it was even manufactured at all. It's easy to say it doesn't really matter because it's a mystery to us. It's just like, it's easy to, I think, say that it's a victimless crime because we're so ignorant about the whole process, about what goes into actually making things.
I'm just saying, it's a lot more than just taking the item.
I agree.
That's all I think I want to get people to think about. You're not just taking from this store. You're taking this store from the neighborhood because
Well,
you
that is
have
true.
to close.
Yes.
Okay. So I think to say that this is a misdemeanor, I'm thinking any crime, and I don't care how small they feel it is, should be severely punished. You know, severely punished. A person should be severely punished. Um, at the max, because you're not just taking from one person, you're taking from a lot of people.
Yeah.
People
I
need
mean,
to stop doing the wrong thing. And I mean stop. Like, let's not say stop with if you do this much. No, stop. Period. It's not yours. You don't take it. That's all I'm saying.
Have you ever had someone in your family steal something, like, while you were with them?
Oh
Like,
God.
out in public? 'Cause my family did that once at, an anniversary party we had for my grandparents. I can't say what restaurant it was because I don't know if they might be closed actually, but I'm still not going to risk it. But my grandparents had their 50th wedding anniversary at this restaurant. There's a French restaurant. That's all I'll say. And my family was like, as they were like paying the check, my grandma and her sisters, when they were still alive, my great aunts, they were like taking silverware from the restaurant and like plates and like little things, like little like knickknacks from the table. I'm like, are you guys serious? You guys are in your 80s. You actually like this place? You've come here several times. Why are you doing this? Like they're not gonna know. It was just
Or
I
when
thought
you
it
come
was
back to your favorite restaurant and there are plastic or things you can't use, and you're wondering why this company
Mhm.
doesn't have this normal thing that's usually here. Well, remember how many times you've stolen it, and again, who saw you do it? Because people are always watching.
I did.
They felt they can do it too.
I thought
You
it was
I
so
like bringing it all back together with when you do something, people are watching and people are mimicking you. So if you're doing the wrong thing, it's going to catch on. So that's why I'm saying if we start doing the right thing, I hope that catches on.
I thought it was kind of funny because I was just blown away. I'm like, this is my grandma. I'm like, how old are you? You're in your 80s. I just thought it was kind of trashy behavior in my opinion. I was like, this is embarrassing.
You know, I've known people who stole things. I've known them, and when they were caught, there was nothing I can say to them, like in their defense.
What are they asking you to like bail them out or something, or just
Um, you know what? Uh, they didn't ask me, but I think they knew that I wouldn't.
like you just like they just I'm trying to think of like how like they knew that you knew that they stole and you
Of
just
course.
they couldn't really face you.
Well, no, they faced me fine. It's just that they think they just knew that I was not going to bail them out. I didn't totally think poorly of them, but I was just like, this is what I tell everybody who does the wrong thing. I will definitely visit you on visiting day, but I'm not going to get you out.
Right.
You need to keep your crime. Okay. I've had family members say I'm very hard in that way. Um, but I am. I'm like, okay, so we're going to steal something. Okay. If you do get caught, then there's nothing I can say. I can't even lie for you. So
Right.
never bring me on the stand when the time comes because I'm not that person. But I'll come and support you through your whole punishment. I'll support you and be like, "Hey, I hope you get through it, but you do have to pay for your crime."
I think with my grandma, I think people get to a certain age and I just think it's like a license to kill. Like they just think that they can get away with anything. Because honestly, who was really paying attention to them except other than me?
Other old people who probably was like, "Oh my
I
god,
don't
she
know.
got through away with that." I'm gonna tell you, I am almost looking forward to getting really, really old because you can do almost anything in this world, and no one will say anything to you.
It's
Um,
kind of true because in some ways you kind of become like invisible.
well, I know you can get a lot of stuff when you get old. They're like, "Oh, she wants to go to college at 80. Let her go for free, for goodness sake." I mean, we're just happy she can still remember what what was told her in this class.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm waiting to get my dues. I'm telling you, everybody who's known me know I'm waiting to get my benefits. I want to be able to eat at IHOP for my
Mhm.
20%
Yep,
off
yep, yep.
or whatever the case,
You're like,
whatever the
I'm
discount.
gonna be at Golden Corral right when they open.
Yes, be
Mhm.
right there. I mean, I'm waiting to get back all the stuff that I had to deal with when I was not old. So I'm waiting to, eat them out of house and home.
Do you think when like those old people that go back to college, like they have to like do you think that they'll like get in trouble with the professor for like watching Matlock at certain time, like in class when they're supposed to be paying attention or
Well, yeah, because it's disruptive.
Like I said, no food or drinks that includes Pediasure, ma'am.
Or you know what? You just I'm I'm a rules person. I'm a rules. Okay, so if you can go back to school at your that age, make sure you can go back to school, which means following policies. Okay, if you can't follow the policies, you can't go back.
Well, what kind of policies would they not be able to follow?
Well, like you said, if they have to watch Matlock
No,
or
I'm just
something,
I'm just joking.
it's like we don't let
Just
students
joking.
do this. Now, I'm gonna throw this out there. I still watch Matlock. Okay, I still watch Matlock, and I love it. I won't think I will. I don't think I will ever stop watching Matlock. But but you know how if you can't sit in a room and hold your bladder a little bit, to get through a test, when
Well,
you may not, how they
I'm-
say you have a test and you have X amount of time to get it complete. You can't leave during the test or it's an automatic fail. Okay, if you can't do that, then you can't do that.
well, there's lots of ways you can get around that. That's something called depends.
Yeah, you can. So basically,
Mhm.
you have to be able to do it if you say you're going to do it, no matter how old you are.
It's funny that you're even saying any of this. That never even occurred to me at all. I mean, when you usually just see this as like a little like puff piece on TV, like look at this little old lady. She's 85 and she just got her college degree for the first time.
You know what? I was just on a let's hear it for the old people.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what I
and
want
it's
to
an
say. Let's hear it
admirable thing to
for the
do.
people. We're not speaking negatively of
No,
you. We
absolutely
are
not.
saying get your life and
Yes,
have fun. I was on a trip this past week, and I was on the plane, and this
that's right.
lady was on a plane with us. She was asked by the captain to turn on her light above her because he wanted to put the attention toward her.
Mhm.
And he announced that this was her first ever flight.
Wow.
And she looked like she was in her 60s or 70s.
Did she look scared?
No?
Okay.
So everybody was very helpful in making her comfortable to be on the flight. Made me feel good. It was really awesome.
That's something you like to see.
Yeah. So let's give it up for the older generations,
Yeah.
and which I called in our last podcast, elders. These are our
Yes,
elders because I consider myself an elder.
that's right.
So
You did. You did say that.
yes, these elders, let's give a round of applause for them because they're amazing. And they lived during some of them lived during a bad time. Most of them lived through a good time. I think we're now living through the bad time. So basically, they have something of expiring to say, you might want to listen.
They lived through a lot.
They
I mean,
lived through a lot.
yeah, through some hard times, like you said. One day we're gonna have to count ourselves among them. I mean, we're gonna be
I'm
old.
already there.
I already feel like I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there. You know what? Yeah. I hope people come to me and say, "Hey, tell me about your time." I'm like, I'm going to tell you. I already do it. I live in a city now, and I was born in the country. So I've already told people I may live in this city, but I will never leave. My spirit will never leave the country I came from.
Right, right. Yeah.
It's and ask me about it. I'll tell you how nice it was. How wonderful it was. Wonderfully boring, but wonderful. But I like the city life too, or I wouldn't have stayed here so long.
There's something to say for being bored because I feel like people don't really truly get bored anymore, like in the ways that they used to, because there's always something to occupy you. You
Well,
know,
that means people can't sit down. They can't
I
relax.
I think more people have issues, I think, with hyperstimulation than boredom. And I think boredom is not like having free seconds and it's just like you don't have something to fill it up with. I mean, it's just like I almost want to be bored at this point. Just to
Give
have
you more time.
really nothing to do. Yeah, I know. I think I need some more time to think sometimes.
which means your actions will probably be a lot better because you had time to think about them.
Well, that's another thing I remembered when we were talking about our Metro discussion, is that when you really do like look around the car that you're in, I mean, you'll see everyone's on their phone. Some of them are watching videos, some of them are reading ebooks, some of them are playing Scrabble or crossword puzzles or something. But it just does, like, it reminds me that I need to get up and look around and actually pay attention to what's around me.
They always say, take some time for yourself and take some time to think. Take some time, just time. Even if you're not thinking about anything, give yourself a break. And I think people are afraid if they do give themselves a break, they'll miss something or life will pass them by. Now, of course, that's the way if you give yourself too much of a break and you step out of the world, of course, things are going to, evolve around you. But it's just kind of like, I think you should just take a step back, take a deep breath, and just give yourself a break and take it all in. You might find out something about yourself. You may find out something about others because I think you turn your listening ears on when you clear all that other stuff out. You can truly hear people. You can truly hear yourself.
I'm someone who's like, I walk really quickly and I'm like, I always feel like I'm rushing for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to sometimes just like slow down and just be more in the moment. And then somehow it always gets sort of derailed because being in the city, you're like around all these high strung people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to maintain that.
And also going back to, we start doing what others do because we're watching them, we're seeing them, we're doing.
You feel pressure to walk a little faster, because you don't want to be in someone's way. Someone else might be in a rush.
Well, you know what? They need to go around.
Well, sometimes they do.
And hopefully they will.
Yeah.
And hopefully they will realize that they need a breath at some point. And then you might be in your place where you're going to go around them. Yeah. Don't think you're going to miss too much just by taking a breath. Right. Okay? Taking a moment. Take these moments. I do all the time. I mean, I literally do. I work a lot. I do. I love working. I love what I do for work. But when I need to take a time, oh my goodness, I do take my time. And
it sounds like you were pretty good about giving yourself breaks.
Yeah. Some days I will tell you, I don't even leave my apartment. Like a whole weekend will go by. I came into my apartment on a Friday and I didn't come out until I had to go to work on a Monday. And I did absolutely nothing.
I've had weekends like that, plenty of them.
I'm not even talking about house projects. I did nothing.
Yep.
Okay. So I took my moment. I was refreshed at work on Monday. I was very excited. I was doing things. Things were clearer. I was just like, this is awesome. I'm like, what happened? So I take my moments now. They can't be forever, of course, because you got to make money, you got to pay your bills. So it's not realistic to just fall off. But you do need to take some moments. I mean, and I mean when I say take a moment, that's not, oh my God, I'm taking a moment, so I'm going to clean out the garage. I'm taking a moment and I have to redo some scrapbook, or I'm taking a moment and I have to redo these pictures. No, taking a moment, powering down your mind.
We need to let go of these ideas that we have to like capitalize on every free moment that we have. And it needs to be, we always need to be building something or working on some project or accomplishing something all the time.
We're definitely a part of the world where we took moments. Now, things are, if you don't have the newest gadget, if you're not doing the newest thing, you're not dressing in the newest clothes or the most trendiest things, then you're left behind and you're made to feel bad about it. You know what? You can still do all that, but just take moments for yourself. I'm not saying that's not, you keeping up with the Joneses is still okay for you, but don't forget about you. Don't forget about yourself. You are doing those other things for yourself, But I guarantee you, if you took your moments, you'll do a lot more.
You will get to a point where you've just run yourself ragged and you feel like you have nothing left to give because you don't.
Right.
Yeah. Because you were just so focused on output that you output too much.
And you also allow other people to run you. So they see that in you, they love that in you, and then they
It can be addictive.
they
It's
as you
hard to
keep doing it.
you get addicted to sort of like the high of like always being like stressed out all the time, like rushing, or I think it's a control thing too. I think it's like a control issue a lot of the time.
I mean, we do it to ourselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We definitely do it to ourselves. And then when others do it to us, we don't know because we've already kept doing it to ourselves. So we're like, okay, so you should really. Somebody had said something to me, and I know who this person is. I'm not going to bring their name up, but if you're not treating you well, you're not being good to yourself. Why should anybody else?
It sounds a lot like RuPaul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's almost like if you will do enough for your coworkers, your boss, your friends, but then when it comes to you and you're doing very little, you're selling yourself short, that's a problem.
I've mentioned someone say this before, where like you would never say the things that you say about yourself that are so negative like that to your friends or your family. So it's like, why are you letting you do it to yourself?
Yeah. Start taking care of you, giving yourself these moments, talking positive to yourself, speaking positively to yourself. I mean, yeah, just self-love, man. Self-love.
But just
Not just buying yourself something at the store and saying, "Hey, I gave myself a gift."
And we're not talking about the self-love where it's exposing yourself on the yellow line of the metro. That's not the kind of self-love we're talking about either.
No, we're not. We're talking definitely about self-love. True self-love.
Yes.
Not self-lust.
Yes. There's a difference.
So I think about these things all the time, and I'm still working on them too. So
I know. It's like I don't know if we'll ever really finish that process, but I think
as long
we
as
just have to keep
working
trying
on something,
Yeah.
as long as you keep working on it, you should always try to keep working on making yourself better. And by making yourself better, you have to give yourself some time to think things through. It seems pretty simple, don't you think?
It seems simple, but it's so hard to do. It's
Well, you know what? Kick all this other stuff out of your brain, okay? And just be like, hello. I'm gonna start from the basics because I need to love myself so I can be better at work. And then you'll get those raises, those promotions because you're doing a better job because you're happy about what you're doing.
And also I think people need to take time off as a form of self-care. I'm just thinking that I need to do that. Like when your boss tells you that you need to take time off, I really think you should take some time off.
Hopefully, you will be able to tell yourself first.
Well, then I'm also like, whenever she says that, I'm like, well, can I leave now?
Well,
Because I would love to leave right now.
Well, they're probably telling you taking some time because you're probably showing something where you want or need to leave then.
Yeah,
But
well, I think that like she and some other people that I work with, they do take a little bit more regular time off. And I think that I'm still the new person, really. I'm still, I think, in that phase where I'm like still trying to like be the best employee I can be. But
well, we've already said that if you're giving yourself moments, you will be that best employee.
right. And I
If
know
you're
that
just running through the work, and not putting yourself in it,
yeah,
it's it may not be a good product at the end.
yeah. No, you're right, because it's like if you burn yourself out, the work that was leading up to that burnout could not have been good because it took a long time to, I think, to get to there.
I'm gonna tell you, I rush, when I go to get lunch sometimes, and I get lunch at this place there, and I am like, "You know what?" And I'm sure you've had this type of place where it is so slow, but when you get the food, it's really good, and you keep
Mhm.
going back to this place. You're like, "You know what? I can't believe how slow they are." But I think
But
they're really caring about your food, and that's why it tastes so good. Their product is amazing because they took the time to put some love in it, took some time, some moments, and put it together right, correctly, and, so yeah. I mean, it's been proven. And okay, so those
that's
people who come and be like, "You know what? I can't afford to wait." I'm like, "Then you probably don't care also about what you're putting in your body." If you want something fast, easy, you're probably just getting something fast and easy, and you're putting it in your body, and it's not doing a good
yeah.
good outcome.
I think that's how it appears on paper, but I think sometimes people are just demanding. Like they want it fast now and they want it to be the best quality. And sometimes you can't get all three of those things, you know?
You know what? Some people cannot. Some people cannot. I mean, it's just I'm not saying everything needs to be super slow, but I'm just saying, give yourself some moments.
Yeah.
It's I really do believe that they'll pay off in the end.
I hope so. I mean, this is all just making me realize I need to take some more personal vacation days.
Yeah.
Well, we
I
have one coming up.
we say?
Well, we have one coming up. We have a holiday on Monday. We have Memorial Day.
Okay, and most people probably like, you know what? I'm off on Monday. I can mow the lawn.
It's like my
I
day.
can, do this. Oh, this would be a great day to get all those clothes clean. I'm gonna wash clothes all day. All right, how about Memorial Day? You make yourself a picnic and you go sit next under a tree and you take some moments.
I like that.
Yeah. And kind of be like, you know what? Even though other people will be doing the same thing, I'm not going to be paying attention to them because this time is mine. So I am going to be worried about me. I'm not going to be looking at my phone. I'm not going to read any text or anything. I'm not going to read into anybody else in the park with their stupid stuff they're doing. I am going to close my eyes, and this really depends on what part of town you're in because you might not want to close your eyes.
Yeah, you can't keep them closed too long
I
sometimes.
know, right? But I would close my eyes and probably like take some deep breaths and eat a little something that's light, something that feels good when it goes down, not something that's heavy
Right.
and weigh on your heart and your soul. You just need something light, need something really cool, something small, little parts of things, a little variety of fruit, maybe.
This sounds like a nice mindfulness exercise.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think we just get wrapped up on just this hamster wheel of life where it's like it feels like sometimes the same day over and over and over again.
Well,
We're just like nothing ever changes. It's just like the same different day.
we can make those changes. It's
No,
up.
that's no, you're right. That's exactly what you just said. I mean, like it doesn't always have to be the same thing.
Yeah, it's up to us. It's up to us. We have forgotten. It's up to us.
I forget all the time.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. I do too. I'm like, oh my goodness, stop. Stop for a minute. Stop, stop, stop. Have you ever gone to your boss to be like, you know what? I've been trying to get this done. It's just not going to get done. Okay. And no matter how hard I try, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to do it, but it might not get done in this time frame. And if that boss wants it done in that time frame, they may have to help you. But you know what? I'm just letting you know that realistically, I don't want to set the bar too high. I'm telling you that I can get it done, but it's going to be on this level because I
If you
definitely want to give you a good product.
Well, if you keep their expectations low, then you can wow them later because they weren't expecting it. So.
Right. So that's all take your moments. That's where I got today. Take your moments.
I appreciate that. I probably have to start wrapping this up soon.
Okie dokie.
I think we had a lot of good topics. We talked about public transportation. We talked about theft.
Who knew that public transportation turns into taking a picnic?
Well, it all, I think, just comes back to just like handling stress, how you're handling stress, what you can really do. Because the only thing we can really do is just control how we respond to things. And I mean, what is that if not a response to a stressful situation?
And one last thing, don't try to take it all on at once. Okay.
Yeah.
This takes practice. Okay. Taking these little moments takes practice. And the more you do it, the more easy it will become to take these moments in your life. It's almost like eating right. They tell you not to cut it out cold turkey, is to do little at a time.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The repeat, the process, makes it easier.
It does.
So definitely take little moments. They'll come together and they'll bring you lots of joy, I'm sure.
Take moments. Don't take up 2 seats on the metro. I'm like, your bag did not pay the fare. Okay. So your bag does not get to be in that extra seat. And I know most people will move it if they're asked, but we shouldn't have to ask. Come on.
Right.
You're banking on people not asking so you can get away with just taking up 2 seats.
Right.
Because you know that most people are passive and aren't going to say anything. And I just, that bothers me.
Well, that puts you in a mood today.